Who's joining. We are expecting there's at least 200 people are registered for this webinar, so welcome. When you're here, find the chat down the bottom and just introduce yourself. Where are you coming from? And perhaps what the temperature is wherever you are. We've just been talking about the weather. I think that's what everyone's talking about. Well, that and heated rivalry, but we'll get to that in a minute. So thanks, Dan. Hopefully people are coming in. So welcome. If you are here, please put your name in the chat, where you're coming from, and then the temperature here at the moment. What are we? I can't complain. I'm in Los Angeles. I have to look it up though. I don't even know what the temperature is.
I gather we can't see the attendees, huh?
I'm gathering that as well. Dan, if you can just confirm that people are actually coming in because we can't see them.
Yes, they are.
Oh, fantastic. Good. We're not talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
That's great.
We can talk about the weather. Why not?
We can. Well, look, if you are joining, we're very, very excited to have you in here. We've got some of the hottest topics to kick us off this year. So let's start with the obvious. So welcome to the webinar. Obviously, I'm not Sarah Cooperman. There's only one of those, as I'm sure we can all attend to that. My name is Emma Barry. I'm a very good friend and colleague of Sarah for decades, as many of the people on the call are here now. So I'm Chief of Trouble. So my job today is to whip us along and make sure we get through some really, really interesting questions that are that our industry is facing right now, and perhaps you are as a professional in the best industry in the world, right? So I just want to first of all wish everyone a happy new year. This may be you're just getting started. I feel like it's already June. It's been a very different start to the year compared with last year. I just had crickets, but it's been a wonderful start to the year. And our topic today is really interesting. So planning for 2026. What's next for PT, for personal training, but also for group exercise or group fitness. And I think these are the times we need to come in as technology is coming into our world. We need to show up. We're the cheerleaders for life. We're educated. We're here to deliver on that longevity, recovery, wonderful life promise that we all get out of bed for in the morning. So I just wanted to welcome you all. Can you just have a look down at the chat? Make sure that you have it open, because as we move through our questions, we'd love to take your questions in the chat. So please add them. We'll keep half an eye on it and just make sure that we're answering them as we go. And I will also create a little bit of space at the end of the webinar so that we can answer those questions as well. So if anyone is on, can they please just type their name and where they're coming from? I just want to see that the chat function is working. We've also put up there some links and we will share those as we go through. The panelists here will share our LinkedIns as well, so that if you do want to reach out after today, you've got a good dialogue there. So first of all, Happy New Year, welcome. So our topic today, and really if you've been reading all the trend reports, whether you follow Athletic News or the Fit Insider Boys or HFA or HCM, all of the publications, you'll know that the topics we're hitting today are huge. Personal training, small group training, Group X, active aging, Pilates, strength. All of these trends are coming through really strong, as well as the new generation who've been born with this wellness gene that's even more forward than generations before. So all of that paints a very, very rosy picture for us in the fitness and health industry, as long as we are advancing with it. And we're going to be tackling a lot of those questions today. So I'm going to introduce you. I am in the presence of royalty today. I'm going to introduce our panelists shortly, and I'll give them a minute to just hit things that I miss. And also to share with you what they're excited about this year, because we all come from a different perspective. So I will kick us off, and just, is anything coming through in the chat? I'm not getting anything. Are you, sorry, just let me check on the tech side. Are you seeing anything?
Dan just texted me to say, should the panelists see us? I said, yes. So he's working on it. I got it.
Okay, no problem. So we'll see how that goes. And if not, we'll find a way to answer your questions towards the end. So look, just a couple of things before we get started. So I I will just be guiding the questions. You have some absolute experts here with us. And we'll make sure that, and big apologies from Sarah, by the way. She's got a good excuse. She's at their best friend's. It's a surprise. I really hope their best friend isn't on this webinar because it's not going to be so much of a surprise if he is. But also their best man at their wedding from 40 years ago. So I know that I'm aging all of us by sharing those details. But Sarah sends her love, and I'm sure she'll be checking our work afterwards. So we're going to get into this wonderful topic. So we're in a world where Pilates and strength are two of the biggest trends. We're also seeing HIIT come off the boil a little bit, and people are embracing more aqua, more low impact, more movement, more hiking, more pickle and paddle, all of these social sports. So all of it is being covered here. We're seeing a world where HYROX is going for 1 million athletes this year competing. Can you even get your head around that? And they've got a bid in on the Olympic Games. Recovery has become an Olympic sport, has it not? Whether you're a top athlete or a corporate or a mum, whatever it is, we're really honing in on that. And as I mentioned before, our Gen Zs and our alphas are born with the wellness gene as they hashtag live their best lives. And they're really, and alcohol's down, I can't remember what percent, but it's huge. So there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I still drink for the record, but there's a lot of things happening in our industry. I just got my 14 vials of blood done this morning. So measurement, wearables, all of these things are happening in our industry, and we're going to get to a few of those. So we're going to ask 6 burning questions, and we're going to start. Let me just do a quick intro, and then I'll get you to introduce yourself. So Melissa Lane, kinesiology faculty at North Georgia, right? The brain trust behind so much of the SCW education, many of the things that you've trained in and that you might be training in tomorrow. I know that there's Cert Smash tomorrow, but we're going to talk a little bit more about that shortly. Also, just a behemoth of certifications that you have written and been involved in, Melissa. Nutrition, hormones, metabolism, active aging. Give us a minute. What do you really do, and what is surprising you this year? What are you excited and surprised by?
Well, what I really do is I started out as a group fitness instructor. I've been one for 40 years. I've been a college professor for 21. I've been with SCW and Sarah for 17. But the funny part is, in 1999, Emma Berry gave me my first start as a body pump trainer when they brought it to the United States with body training systems. So it's all because of you.
You're welcome.
I am so excited about seeing the people come back. Every year since COVID, SCW has gotten a little bit bigger, but we really saw it. It was really noticeable at the end of 2025, and the numbers for DC Mania for 2026 look just as good, if not better.
Oh, that's wonderful. And yes, gosh, the bad old days, weren't they? And I'm so glad that we have that connection all the way back to the barbell. Really love it. Next up on our panel, we have the fabulous Gail Bannister-Munn, flexibility specialist, core yoga Pilates coach for the New York Jets, studio owner. I mean, where does it stop? Regional across 6 crunches. Where does it stop? Serial certification, under her belt, and also delivering them as a provider. Gail, come up and tell us your version of yourself and what you're really excited about in 26.
I think just to see more people coming back into conferences and getting back into classes. I mean, I run, now it's 8 gyms I'm running. So to see the classes pack out again and people are coming in. I did see a drop off in dance, but Pilates, strength classes, the HIIT classes are booming again. But just to see the attendance come back up and this excitement back in the gyms is awesome. I took a Pilates class last night, and my friend said to me, "Well, what did you think?" That's not a discussion as we get into the panel, but it's good to see that Pilates was always trending, but now it's trending even more. The problem with it trending, it's trending with the wrong sources. That's what I would say. But I'm excited to see the attendance come back, and the conventions are coming back strong again. So I'm excited for that.
Thanks, Gail. That's some great insights. And Pilates is 100 years old, so it's
Yeah,
not a new thing. And of course, there's
yeah,
many different iterations of it. And we're going to get into how important it is that you do it right. Right? There's a lot of cowboys out there. Like any trend, it's going to go like that, then it's going to come in, and the good ones, the safe ones, the effective ones will be left. So we see it time and time again. Thanks, Gail, for that. And then last but not least, I bring to you Leslie Bender, who's your 2024 CanFit Pro Specialty Presenter of the Year. And prior to that was 2020 Idea PT of the Year, all the certs you could imagine under the sun, core training, Bender Ball, author, longevity specialist, you name it, she does it. And she's just thrown off her skis to be here. So thank you very much, Leslie. Tell us what is going on in your life and what you're excited about.
Well, it's truly exciting to be here, and thank you so much for having me on this panel. As Gail said, I do see an amazing trend in recovery and Pilates. We are seeing that is our biggest classes now at the gym that I'm the director of. And I find, especially, and it's really rewarding to see that the younger generation is realizing the importance of restoration and recovery, adding into the programs that they do. And it's not to say that we don't want to work out hard, because it allows us to do the things that we want to do. Like I seriously just jumped off the hill and came down. And if I didn't do both, I wouldn't still be skiing. So with that being said, I do think that there is one of the most things that we want to look at for 2026 is education. Is quality education is vital. And like you said, there's a lot of cowboys out there, and I see a lot of things done in Pilates that make me want to pull my hair out on social media, because they're unsafe. The average person can't do it. And it's not about us. It's about what can we do to serve others. So I think we need to really forge forward with stressing the importance of understanding why you're doing what you're doing. And I think that we can really create a really, really strong business, as we still build after COVID. It is coming back, but let's do it the right way.
Thanks, love those thoughts. Thanks, Leslie. Right, we're going to launch into our first question. I'll actually get Melissa to kick us off. So we're going to talk about the talent gap. It's been well publicised. It's dominating a lot of the headlines, particularly in recruitment. Some clubs are really struggling. Many people who have invested in this through the years are still doing well, or maybe they've got a great brand and they've managed to. But nonetheless, there has been an interruption in our talent pool. There have been other choices, and the times have changed. Obviously, we've been through the pandemic, we've come out, but that shifted a lot of things. Every institution you can think of is going through some sort of instability, decentralization. There's a lot of instability and change, from political all the way down to every part, every industry is feeling that right now. So let's talk about the talent gap. So Melissa, how will the ongoing instructor shortage change the way that we recruit? And what will the new essential instructor actually look like in your view? And then the rest of you can pile in after she's had a bit of a go at the question. Yeah.
I think we are definitely seeing a fitness talent group that is aging out. As we have been in the business for a long time, we are not seeing the younger college type of student move into fitness and stay in fitness. And because I work with them on a daily basis and actually teach some of the upcoming freshmen and sophomore, they don't see a career path. They don't see a step ladder that they can climb where they can make a living. So I think as people aren't going into getting certified and becoming qualified, we have to start looking for people who have potential, the people that we can train, that we can mentor, that we can give somebody to work with, that we can somehow find a way to aid in what they have to pay for a quality Pilates certification, because it is expensive to get quality education for our specialty things. We have to start sourcing beyond the traditional LinkedIn and channels. We have to start looking at who's in the front row, but then we have to make it so they feel good about being qualified to be up in front of the class. And I think that's where mentoring comes in. I think we still have to look that even though we're coming back after COVID, the new instructor in 2026 has to have some technology skills, because so many clubs are doing hybrid memberships where you do have the ability to watch classes live. So you've got to be able to cue what you can't see up close, and you have to have the technology to solve quick little problems. I just think we're looking for more people that we can train, bring them into a holistic type of atmosphere, help them pay for sport-specific training, and just really convince them that you can make a 40-year career in the fitness business.
Great, love that. Gal, what are you seeing in your clubs that you're across?
New York is a tough market. Back in the day when we held an audition, hundreds of people would show up.
Right.
And then you needed the backup plan. Hey, Kelly, can you come help me out? Hey, Leslie, can you focus on Pilates? I'll focus on dance. You'll focus on kickbox, because we had so many instructors. I don't even do auditions anymore because you don't get the volume anymore. So for me, for recruitment, it's usually my instructors who know my style. When they go and teach in other locations, they'll say to me, hey, I found somebody for you. They're looking for more work. And then I'll come into the club and then I'll audition them on a one-on-one basis. So for me, it's more one-on-one. My biggest recruit is Instagram. Sometimes, at night when I'm just relaxing, I'm on Instagram just scrolling through anything I can find and messaging people. Hey, where do you live? Are you in the area? Are you looking for work? And of course, on Instagram, they put up what they are, they're certified, whatever it is. And I would say 60% of my recruits are off of Instagram, but you still have to bring them in to audition, because the people on Instagram are usually teaching in dance studios or small boxing studios. But when you bring them into fitness studios, it's a whole different ballgame. Policies change, procedures change, uniforms change. Like you just said, they got to know how to check in, how to do attendance, how to take the tickets from the members, all these different things versus just showing up and hitting play and it's entertainment. It's a whole different game. I just said yesterday I took a Pilates class. A friend of mine opened up a studio and she's very good. I'm not going to give her name, and she just opened up her studio in January. And she called me. She goes, "Why don't you come take a class?" I was off last night, so I went and took the class. Class started at 5:30. I got at 5:25, and I walked in and put my little socks on. I'm all ready to go. And she goes, "Grab your weights." I was like, "What?" There's no warm up. I was like, "Oh, it's like that." Okay. So we were in the workout. There was no, "Hey, my name is there anybody new? Is anybody taking my class for the first time? Is there anything I need to know about?" It was bing, bang, dumbbells in, going. There was no modifications. And I'm looking around the room going, "Oh, keep up, will you?" So the funny thing is that I was the strongest person in the room, and we did not change springs once. Leslie, don't cringe. Not
Right.
once.
Right.
So I changed springs because I know to operate a reformer. I changed dumbbells. So the two people on my right and left were like, "Oh, you changing dumbbells? I'm changing dumbbells." I'm like, "Don't change dumbbells. I'm a lot stronger than you. If that's what you've been doing, stay with it." But that's the new generation. Funny enough, the owner who knows me, I was telling my girlfriend who has the studios about it. She goes, "Did she call you yet?" I said, "No, she hasn't called me yet for feedback." And she invited me. So I'm not going to reach out and say, "Hey, this is my experience." I'm going to wait for her to call me because technically I'm a guest. But if she
Right.
wants to know, then I'll give her the feedback. But that's what it was.
Right.
It wasn't, "Hey, my name is Gail. How are you guys? Welcome to the group. This is a 5:30 class. This is what the class is about." It was none of that. It was like, "Grab your dumbbells, let's go." And I'm like, "Oh, what?" So it's just the training, like, Melissa said, we have to mentor them, we've got to coach them. But I don't think a lot of these new instructors want to be mentored because Instagram has created, I want to say, the devil of, I look good on screen. I look good. I've got 17,000 likes. Everybody thinks I'm great. And who are you to tell me what to do? So we're not getting that. They may look awesome, but I'm trying to find it in between of the ones who are not retiring yet, but are still in it, that are a good 15 years still in there and still have a little bit more wheels under them to go. Those are the
Yep.
ones I'm looking for. I'm trying to find the middle between that. But New York's a tough market. It's a very, very tough market. And funny, I know I'm going on. I'm looking at trainers now,
Right.
my personal trainers, to teach classes
Yep. Totally.
because they're building their revenue off of that.
Yep.
So they're the ones who know, I want to make more, I want to get more clients, I want to make more money. So then I'm going to teach you how to do a hit zone class, which is your CrossFit or your hydro classes. and they're embracing it a lot, and they're listening, and they want to learn, and they learn and learn the tricks. So I'm leading more in trainers now, and they want to learn. So
Right, love
that's my
that.
tip.
That's great. I'm just going to pick up on a couple of themes before I kick to you, Leslie, just to bring this home. Just a couple of things, and you touched on it there, Gail. I advise a brand called Cover Me, which is basically all the back end operations for clubs. We're just launching in the US, but we've absolutely built out London and the UK. Now, we've found a couple of things. The talent shortage isn't as short as we realise. Everyone just went away. They either stopped or found something else. And what we've found is we didn't know where to find them. They're not looking at job boards, they're not sitting on LinkedIn, they're not doing these things, but they're relatively paralyzed because when you look into the world, it looks like the jump to get back is too hard, or I just don't know where to go. I don't know who's asking. I mean, we are so segregated as an industry generally because we have our clubs, then we have studios, we have big box, then we have the boutiques, and everyone's kind of just talking to themselves. But if you're out there in the great wild west, it's hard to find a home. So the first thing is I would challenge you and say, maybe the talent shortage isn't as short as we need. We just need a new way to talk to people. Now, with the trends coming out of all the high impact stuff and into things that are more measurable, this is a real time for people who have the skills that we talk about to come back because they are great at community building. They cover the basics. They could easily be taking members off for hikes and then coming back and doing a very smart strength training program for women in menopause or whatever it is. There is a massive need. I think we need to change that. The other thing is, and you touched on this as well, Gail, is the influencer culture. So, followers does not equal getting results, all of these things. But this is the world we live in now. How could we bring those influencers in and give them what they need in order that we can get something from each other in a positive way? There's a mindset shift that needs to happen when you're dealing with hiring young people. They're not going to be at work at 5 in the morning. They're not going to work with people they don't like. They are going to ask if they can do 3 classes back to back. Otherwise, it's not financially viable. My challenge to you is maybe we need to listen a little bit. Now, the old school part of me is like, F them, this is the way we do it. But this is different times. Maybe consider if what you're trying is not working, maybe you need to take another way. What if you were to become the place that Gen Z came as their launch pad into the industry? And what would it take to create that? I need others like me. I need to be doing programs that I like. I need to feel like I'm being paid to work out. But then I need to get this mentoring and coaching in a way that I feel that it's setting me up for life because they're dealing with an anxiety we've never known in we just got on with it. We made shit happen, right? That was our era. They're not like that. They've come from a different place. And if we can just tune into that, it's just a challenge to you. Leslie, what are your thoughts on this, the talent gap?
Well, I've done a lot of work for a company, and you've all heard of them, called Club Pilates. And
Yep.
as I'm listening to Gail, I'm listening to you, and I'm listening to Melissa, one of the things that they've done as a franchise brilliantly is recruiting their members to be new trainers. So in other words, these people have been taking Pilates for a year, they fall in love with it, and somehow, some way, they financially figure out a way to go through the Club Pilates training, which is very expensive. I've taught it before, I've worked with them, but the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's an incredibly successful business model. Is that they're bringing in, these people, old and young, to be trainers that understand the culture of that particular brand, and they're killing it. So they're pushing through thousands of trainers, every year through all the different franchises. So I think, even not having a franchise, for example, and I do this at my club, is I recruit my members and say, have you ever thought about teaching? Because you know what, you'd be really good at it. And so like I've got 4 right now that I'm working with that I need because I'm losing 2 and I need new trainers. And like you said, the turnaround is huge. And one of them is younger and her mentality is quite a bit different than the other 3 that are older. And it's like, okay, I got to manage this, right? And so I hope that kind of answers your question, that I think if we, as being in this industry as long as we have, is, working with these different, brands that are out there and realizing that they are hiring, they are educating, et cetera, et cetera. So, in that respect, that's where we can find some trainers, and then if you do go to one of those franchises and you go, man, that trainer is really good, then you might want to consider poaching them.
Yeah.
So,
I love those thoughts,
and
Leslie.
I've done that. And I've done that. I'm like,
Yeah.
you are so good. We need you at our studio too.
Yeah, totally. And look, that's the solid core story, right? If you're not following Anne Marlam, the solid core story was the business model. And you bring up a great point there. Pilates is the hot ticket, as is strength. Maybe you use that as the Trojan horse. They come in, they train in Pilates. Now, if you're trained in Pilates, you're going to be better trained than most of the genre, that
Yeah.
are remaining. Then you find that, hey, why don't you come over here and teach a bit of yoga? Very similar. And we're just going to do some training around that. You are great at building community. Why don't you take us for the little, small group training, whatever? So this is the way in. Swim with the river at the moment,
Yeah.
folks. I would say this is what kids want to train in, and it is. It's at least $5,000 or $6,000 to go through all the trainings for mat and reformer and fundamentals and all. But the kids seem to be, well, at the moment I'm paying for it actually for my daughter, but it's something they want to do. It's
Yeah.
something they want to do. So
Yeah.
I'll just say that and use that as something to bring them in. Now, just on that, I just want to give a shout out for the Cert Smash, SCW Cert Smash, which starts tomorrow. Now, there's a link I'm going to get. There it is there. I'm going to get, Dan is going to share that link with you. If you don't have it, please email us, get in touch. It starts tomorrow. There are over 200 people doing 300 certifications across 16 different subtopics. Get involved, get learning, get going. Let's go. Question number 2, and I'm going to lead out with you, Leslie, this time. Quality versus quantity. Now, as we shift towards a more coaching detailed future where we care about the details, education, doing, more good than harm, I mean, all of these things that we're supposed to be doing, how do we move away from volume and sweat to form and precision, or at least at the very baseline, we're doing more good than harm and we're doing the right things. Give us your thoughts on that, please. Oh, hello, we've got the chat up. Thank you, Dan.
Yay. Well, I always say, are we part of the problem of people getting injured, or can we be the solution? We want to be the solution. And at the end of the day, when we choose this profession, we're here to serve. Like Gail said, she walks into class, grab your weights. Instructor isn't questioning, does somebody have a back injury, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that comes with maturity, and it comes with being in this industry for a while. I mean, we're competing with a lot of different, I won't say the brands of quote unquote Pilates, but it really isn't. And it is hardcore training. And I know so many people getting injured. So now they got a bad taste in their mouth going, well, I took this class and it was loud music. There was 20, pieces of equipment, reformers. Nobody paid attention to whether I was doing it right or wrong. And I honestly feel that this is a fad. I don't think we're in that type of training to stay. And that's just my opinion, because they'll leave, they're going to go and try something new, but they're going to come back to the true and blue. So in other words, if, they've been training with Gail or whatever, and they know her quality, they're going to come back to her. Maybe they're going to go test the water, but we as professionals, we ask, those individuals, do you have an issue? Let me know so I can accommodate you and make sure that, you have a great experience. And or may I suggest a different class for you? Maybe a Pilates, intro, a Pilates fundamentals, rather than you coming into, a high intensity class where you are going to have a bad experience. So again, we do have to get back to quality versus quantity in the way that we are, addressing our industry. And I'm sure everybody has, really good input on this question. But it just gets down to education. Where you're taking an education from, not something, that you saw, somewhere, and it's like, a 1 hour Pilates certification. I'm sorry, you can't get certified in an hour doing Pilates. So, it's a journey, and everyone that's watching, I mean, I can't stress it enough. I mean, enjoy the journey, because I, like Gail and like Melissa and yourself, I've been in this for 4 decades, and people are like, I can't believe you're still doing this, and I can't imagine doing anything else. So I hope that answers your question.
It does, and I'm so glad you're here contributing to our fine industry.
Thank
Melissa,
you.
what are your thoughts on this?
I think I agree totally with Leslie. I think in a nutshell, we need to reframe what results look like. Our people are so used to sweat and exhaustion making a good class. And like Leslie said, we need to start educating on the why of why quality movement is so important and not just doing hit training every day, but doing stretching and adding in recovery techniques. So I think it's teaching people that quality movement covers everything from zone 2 training to high intensity training to recovery training to meditation. And if we can't educate them and create a sense of trust with them, we need to stop and rethink how we are approaching them, just like the example that Gail gave.
Great, thanks. Gail, your thoughts?
It's well, I work for a company that's branded.
Right.
So it's like Les Mills.
Yes.
Um, so for me, it's I'm on a 50-50 of it. I'm a freestyler. People call me a freestyler. I go in, I get the heartbeat of the club, of the studio, and that's what I gauge my classes off of, whether it's a senior or a younger person, to be able to, you know, create a class to be able to accommodate everybody. But the branded classes, the delivery is whatever senior person can do it. Well, then that's not the class for them. And my brain screams, going, it is the class for them if you're able to coach it to be able to make them feel included, not excluded. And I think the branded classes create that. The exclusion of people, oh, I'm not going to take a class. I'm only going to go do this class versus trying to bring everybody into it. So I'm in a company where it's that kind of thing. One of the things I love about Les Mills, it's branded. They give loads of variations, loads of opportunities to download the weight, bring up the weight. But however, the branded classes are great for new instructors coming in because it does give them the tools to have a format to teach it and give them the music to be able to do that. But at some point, they need to learn and not be so locked in to understand where to move up to be able to accommodate those people who are able. And I think that's where we're losing it a little bit. I mean, as a director, I come in and I do coach that up and mentor them up from that point on. But what about the directors who are not able to do that?
That's right. Where do you think the line sits, Gail? Because there's a line between how much do you need to know to be giving the
Right.
appropriate information at the right time?
Right.
Because we're talking about decades where we learnt this and we were trained and we did all the weekends and we
Right.
did all the hundreds of hours. That ain't happening. Like, that ain't happening anymore. But there will be accelerated ways that we can get them there. Where do you think is the line? What's the minimum? What do you think is the minimum viable to get people responsible for a class?
For me, my biggest pet peeve, it is something as stupid as musicality,
Right,
and you can coach a squat
right,
with, and I'll say, give me a squat, give me 4 movements off of that.
right.
And if they can't do it, I'm going, okay, we
Make
need
it
to
work.
work. I mean, it's a simple movement. I'm just asking you to give me 4 variations and 4 movements off of that. And they look at you like a deer in headlights. They're like, then they start doing box jumps. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I need to see progressions with a squat. Where else can you go with a squat? What if you get stuck? And they're deer in headlights. And then
Right,
musicality is a big one for me. And I'm a person, when I teach strength classes, I don't teach to music, but when I teach dance classes, I'm on that 32 count. But they have to keep up with the beat of the music, to the phrasing of the music. But then you lose the people who can't keep up to it, who feel left out of that movement, and they feel challenged to the point where I'm losing it and they're going to leave the class versus trying to say, hey, do the best you can. Don't worry about the music. But people are so timed in. I looked at reels the other day, 2025, all of a sudden Reformer is dancing to the beat of the music on Reformers. So
right,
when did this happen? People are
right.
doing jumps on Reformers to the beat of the music and the lights are going. I'm going, when did this change? I mean, spinning went off the rails like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, but now Pilates reformers are going off the rails now. And I'm like, who did that? Who
Right.
started that? So it does, I've learned to grow up. How's that? To turn a blind eye to it and say, you know what? This is not my club. This is not my problem. This is not my monkey. I'm just being entertained, and my club will do this. And it's
Right.
hard. It's
Right.
hard to turn a blind eye to it.
Right. No, I get it. And look, you bring up a point around musicality. There's a couple of things happening. I mean, you've got people working out in, small group training. If it's like boot camp styles, there you just got music as the background. We know how long it takes if you don't naturally, if you're not a dancer by trade. We know how long it takes for people to learn to move to music sometimes. And then you've got a whole generation that might just not, if I'm just doing HYROX training, or maybe I'm just on a bike but doing time-based or effort-based rather than musicality. That's sort of interesting. Then you've got Pilates, which really wasn't to the music that's being put to it. So you are going to see all of those iterations, because that's innovation in a highly innovative time. I'm mindful of time. We've got 3 questions to get through. So Gail, and we'll pick up shorten our answers, I think. So Gail, I'm going to start with you. The hybrid shift. How can facilities shift or blend the results of personal training with small group training or hybrids? And then the second part to that is we've also kind of got to make money off that if we're going to pay people on the floor. Do you have any thoughts around that?
How to move them into classes like the small group training program?
Yeah, how can we charge for it essentially?
That's easy. I just did a training this weekend for stretching, and they were trying to get the trainers to transition in, and I said, the number of ways you can do it. What do you charge for 30 minutes? What do you charge for 45? What do you charge for 60? And they started giving me the prices. I said, then you have a ways of doing it. Your trainers need to make money. For me, it's all about revenue, right? Group X is a cost center. So how do we show we are important? Bring the trainers in, and the trainers will sell. So for me, I've always looked at the trainers. I've always said the trainers bring the money in, the trainers bring in the clients. Let's try and upgrade them. So we've created small group training classes for the trainers, which also adds in the stretching at the end of the sessions. And members pay for extra 15 minutes at the end of their personal training sessions, or 30 minutes. Some clients will come in for 30 minutes of stretching and 30 minutes of training, or 45 minutes training, and it blends. So the small group training is building up. The small group training, we have 8-week programs.
Yes.
And we build them up.
Okay.
Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5.
Right.
You can only come in as a new client between 1 and 2 if you missed the first session. So we will let you in between 1 and 2, maybe 3, depending on who you are. But after the third one is gone, they're locked in. So we're creating the need for them to go, oh man, I missed it. Don't worry, we have another one starting tomorrow with Kelly. Don't worry, we have another one starting tomorrow with Melissa. So we're creating the need to say, I know you missed it, but we have another one starting tomorrow.
Right, got it. And what are you roughly charging, Gail?
New York is rough, man. Because what they make for small group training is what we pay the trainers as well. So our trainers make, I want to say $40 an hour. So they get $20 a half hour. So to show value to them, we'll add the PT into it. So for the small group training, we'll pay them $50 for the hour, which incites them to want to teach it, to get the clients off of it. So they can do a personal training session at 9 o'clock, a small group training at 9:30, and then a personal training at 10:30. So they're just banging money out for us after that point.
Right, which is necessary because we're all trying to create a living, right? Leslie, what are you seeing in this space?
Just really quick, what we've done in our club is we've really capitalized on small group, that we've added it as part of our upgraded membership. So in other words, the members pay a bit more. That includes Pilates Reformer, that includes our infrared studio, but it also includes this small group training, and it's slammed. They're doing really well with it. And I think because rather than having to pay like a separate fee all the time for it, they've said, all right, for our premier membership, you can do this twice a week. And we keep having to add classes because it's doing so well. So I don't know if that kind of goes along with trying to keep my answer short.
Some gyms are doing that. Some gyms are saying, no, some gyms are doing that. Pay the higher membership, you get everything. And that works as well.
Right.
That works as well.
Melissa, anything to add there?
No, not really my wheelhouse.
Right, got it. Right, let's move to the autonomy and aging. So there's a shift now. We need to transition from safe movement to functional independence. Subtle shift there, but let's reach into that. Perhaps that's more your wheelhouse, Melissa. Do you want to kick us off on that one?
Staying very short and sweet, I think we have to change from the mindset of protection and do no harm to capability building. That yes, we've built the foundation and now we know that we have some muscle mass. Now let's try and take it to the next step. We have to go from isolated movements to integrated patterns. We have to go from slow stretch to maybe a little bit of power work. We have to teach them that static balance isn't really part of your activity of daily life. Your balance should be more stability that is dynamic through a range of motion. So I think we have to educate. We have to teach them that they are safe with us, but we are going to progress them. And that's just my way to keep it nice and short.
Great, love it. Any other comments, ladies?
I'm reading the chat to see if I can keep up with it, but no questions yet.
Okay, yeah, just one thing in the chat, and this is to Marina McDonald. Thank you so much for your comment. Yeah, the body combat class can't keep up due to injury. I don't think you're the first person to hand that feedback back to Dan and Rach. I'll also hand it back personally. I do know that they have looked at it, and of course they've created a whole suite of slower moving, more mindful movements as well. I will send it back. I think they're just letting people find their zone, but you're not the first person to recommend that. And I think with these trends into the older, more seasoned participants, I think there's a real play here, because if you love combat, like, you never stop loving it. And I think there's a play. I'm gonna have a chat with them. I'll see where I get to. So thank you for that comment. Leslie, did you have another comment, or are you good?
Oh, I'm good, but just I agree with Melissa. It's just progressions and finding out what the active agers love to do. If you're like these pickleball is still a huge revolution. They're going from couch to court and they're getting hurt. It's like, so how can we give them the tools so that they are prepared to get out on the pickleball court, have a good time, and not get injured? But they're doing something that is neuroplasticity and movement and thinking, and I think it's awesome. So yeah, build up to something for sure.
Oh, that's great. And I will stay with you for the next one too, Leslie. So the recovery revolution, how can we better integrate Pilates and aquatic mobility, some of these lower intensity, I guess, impact into high intensity HYROX and strength athletes? So perhaps the hardcore crowd, how do we give them the other side before they need it when they get really old and can't, back the car out of the...
Yeah, right. Well, what I have found is like we've got a class called Bro Pilates, which is Pilates for men. Of course, now it's so full, we have a waiting list to get in. But, our taglines were this is you need recovery to ski, you need recovery to golf. So you have to sprinkle in some language that people go, I really do need this. And it's like, our Monday restorative class, for example, is packed. I have a waiting list only for it. Young people. Again, I'm excited to see this because these are the hardcore people that are in the gym working out going, this is harder than I thought. And it's like, yeah, because you are only doing this once in a while. So it truly is such a necessity. And I think if we can hone in as mentors for these people, the importance that when you do this, you will be faster, you will be stronger, you can lift more weights because your body needs everything. And it's like, do you get a massage on a regular basis? No, can't afford it. Guess what? I can provide a foam roller for you. So yeah, short and sweet. I hope that kind of makes sense.
It does, and I love what you're doing there. And I think something we also need to sell is the feeling when you have been stretched, or when you're on the roller. I've got a hip thing going on. I got on the roller yesterday. I'm like, oh my God, I feel 6 foot tall. I'm walking around. I feel amazing. So it's tying that feeling, and it's like brushing your teeth. You wouldn't dare go a few days without brushing your teeth because of the furry feeling. If we can encourage, you don't want this feeling. You want to feel like you can take on the world. So I think there's more of that. Melissa, what have you got to add there?
I'm going to turn it over to Gail because she's your expert with that stretch and recover with Leslie. Again, not quite in my wheelhouse.
Right.
I mean, I remembered when I started with the Jets in 2006, stretching wasn't a thing.
Totally.
It wasn't. These guys would just do their ca calisthenic stretches, their curtsies and their, you know, whatever they want to do across the field, leg curls, and then the athletic director came in and took my class because I drew a different approach, and he goes, "Would you come and do it there for me?" And I'm like, "Sure, I would." And then that started moving forward, and I was like, "Wait, they do want this," because they started to see performance space and started to see less injuries. So it's funny because I see all these things coming out, and I was like, "Man, 2006, I was way ahead of my league back then." But to see pickleballers now like come in and they want to be stretched. They want to be, and they'll tell you, "I have a tournament tomorrow. Can you stretch me for tomorrow?" And I'm laughing because, "So are you going to win?" Of course I'm going to win. And they come in with their partners. They're hilarious. Now I've got handballers coming in because handball is starting to come up and trend up now because I don't know if you guys remember what handball is, but now handballers are coming back versus the pickleballers, and they're fighting for the court. So it's hilarious watching the handballers and the pickleballers fighting. So people are coming in for stretching now, and I think it's a thing now. It's absolutely a thing now that people love, and they get it. And I said, if you got a tennis ball and a handball and a pickleball, you can stretch on it. Just sit on the ground, open up your piriformis, you're good to go. Just do something. I don't care what it is. So it's been working. It's been working. It's not
Right.
that complicated. Just
Yeah.
touch your toes. I don't care. Just do something.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. I love that. Just keeping it real, right?
Yeah.
We've arrived at our last question, and I'll just get whoever feels like speaking to do so. So we're going to talk a little bit about retention, so holding on to clients, members, patients, whatever it is, whoever you're serving, through design. So why are safer transitions? You've got to take away the friction from the whole journey, whether that's how I find you, whether it's a digital expression, how I check in, all of these things, as well as when I have that experience with you, there's no glitches in that either. So whether it's in the programming and the way that I find your club, the aftercare, how I come back, that whole journey. So, what are some of the things that you're seeing and focusing on in your respective businesses that are making sure that it's a frictionless? Because we got enough problems going on getting people to do something hard called exercise, let alone putting any barriers in the way. So, what are perhaps one or two things that you're doing to ease that through so that people stay and come again and again? Then it becomes a way of life. Gail, what are you doing in that space?
You know what? I was in a gym this weekend in Hartford, Connecticut, and they had one of the best boxes I've seen.
Right.
It was impressive. Two swimming pools, two basketball courts, a studio, spin studio, a yoga studio. They just brought me in to do flexibility training. They had a museum about fitness and about the athletes that are coming in. And I sat there and I went, wow. Now they're renovating to bring in cold tubs and red light and all these different things. And I said, how are you guys doing this? And they said, the trainers are the one who are promoting it. The
Right.
trainers are the one who's saying, hey, you got 10 minutes before you train with me, go stretch. They had massage rooms there. I mean, so it was a beautiful box, but it's a place was probably twice the size of a football field. I mean, we don't have that luxury in New York.
Right.
But I think if a small club like mine of 50,000 square feet, we have rooms and we have tables that we stretch clients up, and our trainers are trained with the verbiage of let me stretch you 5 minutes after your session and make them feel good. And they're like, wait, I want more of that. Okay, let me tell you how you can get more of that. But they create, and I think personality and kindness and humbleness and follow up is a big thing we do. We have somebody who calls the new clients after they're trained to see how they're feeling, to make sure their next appointment is met. And if they miss their appointment, we have another person calling to make sure, hey, you missed your appointment, we want to reschedule. So it takes it off the trainer's plate and just keep them training. So we have a lot of follow through and follow up to make
Right.
sure they come in. But that works for us. Sometimes the trainers will come into classes if they're on break, and we'll introduce the trainers to help us through the classes, and we promote them that way.
Right.
But we do a good job of that. We don't have a big box. We're trying. I wish we had a pool, but what we have, we work best with. You know.
Great. Love it. Melissa, what are you seeing? A couple of tips from you.
To keep it really short and sweet, I was not a big fan of technology during COVID when we're signing in and we're grabbing our spots and everything had to be done on the computer. And everybody who works for SCW, when Dan started working at SCW, he was told, be careful, Melissa freaks out if technology does not go right. He was warned. And
Absolutely told that.
at first, I really hated it, but I teach for a franchise and then I teach for a big box club. Our big box clubs sign in on the phone where I can see the roster, I can see my rookies, I can learn names, I can make sure I reach out and I touch them in a way that I don't touch my normal everyday people, but also my normal day people, when they hit a milestone, I can say, this is your 250th check in this year. So I can touch in two different ways, my new people and my people that are like, I'm here, please don't call my name, please don't point me out.
Right.
And that has really made a world of difference in retention for us in group fitness.
Great, love that. So lean into the advantages that change brings, even though they can be hard. So, and I would say that to everyone on this call, we got to be open to change. There's a freight train coming. You're not going to stop it. Work out how you're going to slide through it. Leslie, bring us home. What are your gems here?
Okay, well, our facility has been here for probably over 32 years. I actually started there when we were wearing our G-string on the outside of our spandex. And to that tribute, there are still members still doing their cardio dance classes, because we have an amazing cardio dance instructor still in that class. And a couple of them have yet to change their outfits, but it's a testament. It's
That
a
was my question.
testament to what she has captured in retention has been phenomenal, because Reno is booming. We've got a Pilates studio on every corner. I mean, the competition is insane. But I think our secret to the success is community. And it's like the Cheers bar. Everybody knows everybody, and it's a welcoming environment. And I think the social aspect of it, you know, granted, we have everything that all the big box gyms do, but I truly think they come to see each other, and it is their time to be together. And to her testament, we've got somewhere in the neighborhood of almost 5,000 members. I mean, so it's working. It's working. So, you know, and just a very quick, you know, just something to make you all laugh is I saw a woman that used to take my class 30 years ago. She was still in her leotard, and I thought it was maybe a costume day. And I said, I love your costume. And she looked at me and she goes, this is not a costume. So I'm like, okay, foot insert in mouth. And I'm like, God bless you for still being here wearing those skin tight leotards. I love you. So I think, you know, if we can keep, you know, the old farts that are still alive, still coming in, and they're still having a great time, and yet we've got all these new people coming in, it is a recipe for success. So that's my testament to the place that I work, and it's pretty freaking awesome.
Oh, thanks, Leslie. And way to bring us home. This is your last chance if you're in the chat, and thanks for staying with us. I know that we're a few over. Last chance if you have a question. You know where to find us. We're all on LinkedIn. It's under our names. I checked just before, so feel free to reach out. Or if there's any questions you have of SCW, Dan's in the chat. Sarah will be back soon for sure. So in conclusion, there's a couple of things I want to shout out. Cert Smash starts tomorrow. If you want to upskill, it is not too late. Reach out to Dan if it's not in the chat. There's a link there. You can sign up at this late time, get yourself certified, get in the community, get back on board, go for mastery. Okay, I promise you, if you focus on the skill that you do and get even better at it, there is a place for you. Then get out there and create good change. So that's the first thing. There are 6 live events, SCW events this year, starting on February the 26th. We're going DC, we're going Florida, Atlanta, Dallas, Chicago, and Boston. And there is also, everyone should be on this, Active Aging Summit, which is virtual, March 21 and 22. You need to be there. So can I just thank, I'm just having a look in here. Okay, Smash is up there. If you need the link, it's up there. Register, why not? Learn something new, meet some new people, upskill yourself. Never stop learning. This is an industry for life. And if you're feeling a little bit old and I'm a bit over it, no, you have a community. Look at the young people. Yes, they've got other things, they've got youth. They don't even know what they have. They don't have your experience. You are at a point now where you can give. Like you've got it all. So thank you all for joining us, to our incredible panelists. Oh, so much knowledge. I hope you enjoyed your time with us. Please check in. Sarah will be running these all year long. You know what she's like. Hi, Sarah. Let's get a photo. Okay, girls, go. Photo. Hello. Smiling.
Wait, can I add one more thing? I'm teaching
Yes,
the personal training cert on Sunday, and the certification. A lot of people come through and just redo it to learn new tricks, because we are always updating the personal training in the sense of what's trending for movement in personal training. So if you're interested, it's cheap, it's discounted. It's on Sunday, and Leslie is teaching tomorrow, right, Leslie?
I'm at Saturday.
You're Saturday. She's teaching at then functional
Yeah,
Pilates, which is
it's
awesome.
the functional Pilates. It's
Even
amazing.
I have to say this, even if you're certified, take it, because you're going to learn something new from us. It doesn't
So,
matter.
ladies, the question in the
We're
chat is,
always changing it every time we teach it. I
do you
guarantee
have to
that.
be a personal trainer to do this course? Is a question. No.
No,
No.
she's
You can
certifying
be a
them.
personal trainer or thinking about being one. Yes.
And
Melissa,
you can
teach
always
well.
use one of those trainings for your CECs. Even if you're
Yes.
never going to be a trainer, you can use those 4 CECs for your group X or whatever you're doing.
And can I just close by saying those two certs are the most sold out at the moment, personal training and functional Pilates. So you're in the presence of winners. So everybody, thank you so much for joining. Have a
Ladies,
great
thank
year.
you
We'll
so
see you in the
much.
event soon. Ciao.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Bye.